Hey, it's Louis Max. Hope you enjoyed part one of Joe Scollo. Here's part two, where we find out which band he thought was at the top with Full House, and some interesting personal reflections. Enjoy.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
You know what, Lou, I'll be honest with you. When the Touch came out, we had already been around for 5 or 6 years. And I saw them and I'm like, wow, these kids, they were kids, they were only 5 or 6 years younger than me. But at the same time, I wasn't threatened by it because they were doing a totally different thing. They were doing dance music, doing it well. Jeff, to this day, one of the greatest singers I ever heard at what he does. And Bobby Z, the keyboard player, the other leader of the band, he just had that whole 80s new wave, the sounds, everything down,
So the Touch was one of your, an up and coming band, and you thought they could steal a little fire from you, but you guys were not in the same game because you were A and they were A.
Right. Well, I find out after all these years now that we did have a lot of common followers. I just from Facebook, I see that, But it was really, if people love them, then they probably weren't going to love what we did. So I wouldn't even say it was a friendly competition. It was just friendly. I used to go see them because I really respected what they did, and they had a huge following. Huge following.
Still to this day, huh? So there were a couple bands out there that might have been coming up and maybe trying to steal your thunder. I don't know many of them, to be honest, but you actually, did you ever go check them out and see see what they were doing?
Are you talking about the Touch specifically?
No, you don't have to name any bands, but just in general, you and the guys.
Yeah, we used to check out, a lot of the bands, because then we were playing, back in the 80s and the 90s, we were playing 4, 5, 6 times a week. But on our off nights, we were still relatively young whippersnappers, and we go out and, check the bands out. And,
right.
Like I said, the first time I ever heard them, I think it was one of their first gigs, the Touch was playing at the OBI, the flagship place in Oak Beach. And
right.
I heard them and I was like, we were working for the same agency at the time, Omnipop. And I said, I think I was there with, I don't know who was my band, one of the other guys in the band. I said, these guys are going to be real popular.
Right. So you knew that. Yeah. But again, they were not the same. I mean, they were,
I found out after the fact that they were fans of us. And in fact, we wound up playing for Jeff, the lead singer's wedding about years ago.
Right.
So,
that's pretty crazy.
I took that as a compliment,
Yeah, absolutely. Who's booking the band? I know you booked the band pretty much your own, but you dealt with Tom, or you dealt with Ralph, or you dealt with Bruce? How did it work?
We dealt with all of them. First it was Bruce, and then Bruce moved out to California to, he focused pretty much only on comedians. And then it was Ralph and Tom, and then Barbara Klein was booking us at weddings. We started doing a lot of weddings, I'm going to say, like, starting in the late 80s, early 90s. Started doing weddings. And in the beginning, the first few years of doing weddings, it was just a 4-piece band, Mm-hmm. And then Lynn Patelli Saberhagen joined the band. She was our first regular singer.
Yeah, I remember. Absolutely. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
How was the band? Oh, sorry.
How was the band? How were you getting along with the guys when, during the time? I know there were a lot of ups and downs due to whatever, but you pretty much were making good money back then, right? Yeah. I mean, you don't have to say what you were, but I know you guys were definitely making a living. You were making money. You were getting older. Mm-hmm. Did you had relationships? You started to have relationships. What was it like within the band? relationship wise, and then also I'm gonna get into a little bit about personally for you when you met Lisa, and that when went to a completely different era or chapter of your life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as far as the band goes, if we could pick it up from the beginnings of myself, Charlie, Angus, and Keith, we had a really good relationship, but then the drinking and the drugs start having their effect, and we had contentious moments, but we always were friends. We always got along, and me and Keith, we've been together for over 40 years now. Our personalities rubbed each other because I was just stickler, to put it mildly, with the music, and sometimes Keith didn't appreciate that. He appreciates it now, I'm sure, but and we had been together a long time, so yeah, that friction did set in, but it wasn't anything that was lasting, where it would be, I hate that guy, I can't play it anymore. We always loved playing together.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So the band was pretty much together. So you guys got older, everybody had girlfriends, whatever, here and there. Yeah. When did you meet Lisa?
I met Lisa in early 77 when we were playing. I told you one of our first regular gigs was the Rams Den at Farmingdale College. And she was a student there. And that's where I first met her. But I was seeing somebody else at the time, and so was she. So we didn't get together until about 10 years later.
Yeah, 10 years. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so you guys knew each other because I remember in 87, 88, when you guys met, she was friends with Donna. Yes. And that. So, all right. So that's when you really got, that's when you really started.
89.
That's when you solidified,
when she started, following the band again with Donna, and, that Tomograph and that whole crowd.
That whole scenario. Yeah.
Tom was seeing Donna at the time.
Shout out to Tom McGrath, the maniac of all time. Playboy Tom McGrath, I should say.
At the time, yeah.
Big time. Yeah, good, great guy,
Him and Mike Pinelli.
Oh my God, forget about it. Yeah, absolutely. That's a chapter in itself.
Yes, yes.
So when did you guys decide to kind of go it together, you and Lisa?
I was renting an apartment in North Babylon, and I remember getting a call, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I guess this was a year before, in 87. And I had heard from Mom, like, "Who is this?" And she goes, "It's Lisa." I'm like, "Lisa who?" Right? And Lisa Cavatenuto. And I said, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm getting married in a couple hours."
So you guys got back together like 10 years later. That is pretty amazing. I remember that whole.
Well, we were never together in the beginning. There, we were friends. We were never a romantic couple.
Right.
Like I said, she was seeing this other guy that she knew from high school, and this was only a couple of years after high school. And I was seeing somebody at the time too. So we never really, we were friends. She had a good sense of humor, and
Yeah, no, I love that. She was cool.
But through in that 10-year period, she used to drive by the house where I used to live, where I grew up, with Weird Man and Wonder Woman. And anyway, and I had already moved out, but my mother would tell me, that girl came by and she dropped something into the wishing well outside again. I'm like, "Who are you talking about?" "Oh, that girl Lisa, the one, the doctor's daughter, I'm like, "Oh, that's nice, And then years later, like I started telling you, she called me, I guess from the church where she was getting married again, getting ready. And so, "Oh, what are you doing?" And then I asked her, she's like, "Oh, I'm getting married in a little while." I'm like, "Oh."
Really?
Then she got married, and then About a year
Jesus.
or a little over a year after that, she called me again. She said, "What are you doing?" And I had stopped seeing that girl. I'm like, "Not doing anything. You want to go out and get something to eat?" And we went out, and the rest was history. And now it's history again.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. So now you guys then moved in together, right?
Yep.
Were you ever formally married? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. You were, right?
23 years. Yeah. From
Yeah.
91 until 2013, I guess it was. Yeah.
Right. So 91. So
2013,
how did the music affect did it affect
well,
the relationship? Was
the
that
lifestyle affected? But I was also going through, depression. I didn't identify it as depression for many years.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So
20 years. So that affected, and then
so you were able to you were able to pinpoint that you were feeling down for many years, and it subsequently contributed to the demise.
Yeah, and it started to I kind of subconsciously knew I had that inclination, if you want to call it that, for years. But
In what way? What would you? I mean,
when I was in my late 30s,
Yeah.
40 years old, where
in what way? Give me some, because the reason why I'm asking is because two reasons. One, I myself suffer from it, and two, people listening, might not even know that you actually have the or had it or have this.
Yeah.
How did you battle? What was it? Was it anxiety? Was it?
well, yeah, I guess when you're in the depths of it, you have a lot of time to like psychoanalyze, self-analyze.
Of course.
I kind of, pin it down for one of the earliest points is when I first, in high school started playing in bands. I would get that severe stage fright or performance fright, whatever you want to call it.
Really?
Going back to when I first started playing, when I was, playing in venues when I was 16, 17 years old. I always had to have a drink. Back then it was Southern Comfort, I think, or beer. And then, through many years with Full House, it was always, I never was an alcoholic, but I used to, or think I needed to have, a drink of some kind to go out and take the jitters out and kind of, so I wasn't so self-conscious,
Is that something is that something that everybody knows?
It worked for a while, I got to say. But then, when you get into your late 30s and your 40s, and it doesn't have the same effect anymore. It has the opposite effect.
Is this something that people don't know or know about you? I guess the ones closest to you, yes,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, people know it, like, for the past, 20 some odd years, yeah.
Did you get help? You seek help at all, or you kind of just did it on your own?
Yeah, I was saw a therapist, but a therapist wasn't really like my thing. I didn't feel like I was really getting anything out. It was more a chemical imbalance, which I was taking antidepressants, but I was still drinking, still going out, we were still playing. So I guess the combination was throwing me off, when I shouldn't have been drinking and taking those antidepressants,
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I said, no, I think that's interesting. I mean, any advice you could give to somebody out there that's kind of going through the same thing or went through the same thing? I mean, you're an older guy now.
Don't, if you're on medication, don't drink.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, from the time I was a teenager and playing, I can't say that drinking before I was playing or while I was playing for many years, it served me pretty good because it did take away the jitters, and I was still able to perform and sing. And to this day, I haven't, I've sang a lot of different style, a lot of punishing things, and I haven't lost my voice. So
no,
right. But I can't do that now.
Right. So getting back to the relationship, so it was you know, it kind of, that definitely played a part in it. You were still though working steadily and making money, right? All the time.
Oh,
You've always
yeah.
been hustling, right?
Yeah,
Has that
yeah.
ever been an issue?
Yes. And when in the, I guess, the early 2000s, when it really manifested itself, where I wasn't performing good. I wasn't going to gigs. There were many times when I didn't have the that confidence to go out. So I was a classic case of just laying on the couch in the house and watching TV and waiting for the sun to go down and go to sleep, and see what the next day brought. Yeah, for a long period.
Okay. And so but you kind of knew it, but it was just one of those things you just couldn't get out of your own way, right?
You know it, but you can't. There's really nothing anybody can say to you, and it's like, come on. A lot of people deal with this, and I'm like, yeah, well, they're not in my head. That was the attitude.
Of course. How did it affect her?
Well, it affected her intensely. I mean, along with the laying on the couch went the not paying the bills and not paying the mortgage, and.
Okay, so it affected all around. So did you guys try together?
She hung in there for a long time, Lou. It was I wasn't hearing it at the time,
Okay, gotcha. So talk to me about a pivotal moment in your life, both professionally first, maybe, and personally. Is there a time, is there any one or two moments that you could say that your life changed and you took another road?
Pivotal positive moments?
Positive? Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about a pivotal moment as far as advancing my career, or?
More in life of a fork in the road. Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind is in '91, right after I got married. Got married September 8th of '91. No, September 10th. September 10th of '91, and the next month, in October 20th and 21st, I played at Madison Square Garden with Billy Joel. So
okay.
And then my son was born in '93, so that period right there was, and the Full House thing was really at a peak at that point too. Like I said, like 89 to 96, 97. So that was like right in the middle of that. So a lot of things were happening,
Okay. So that moment that you played at the Garden, that was a super duper rush. I remember that. It was big. You know, did you think you were going to take another step or turn to something else musically at that time, or you were just going to?
Well, you know what? I mean, the thought crossed my mind. If they asked me to be a regular member, which they never did, then that would be the end of Full House. So to me, looking back on it, I probably could have kept it together and done that, and and still kept the band together. Like Del Judas has Big Shot still, and he uses it to his advantage.
That's true.
Back then, I was like, well, I'm the leader of this band. If they ask me and I join them, then Full House is over. So
right.
In my mind, that's that was my thinking at the time.
Was that ever discussed?
It was discussed with the band, because I don't think the band was happy at the time if that actually happened, where it turned into a full-time regular thing. But in all honesty, they never asked me, so
And that would have been through Tommy, right?
And they actually, in the beginning, Billy didn't even get a second guitarist. He had Crystal and Mark Rivera. They all play guitar, and at the time that I played with him on that Walden Wood show was the time that Tommy saw his opportunity to get the lead guitar position. So that was, for him, that was I mean, it was great for me, but it was great for him too, because he became the lead guitarist, and then not long after that, the musical director of the band.
Right. Gotcha.
He's been for over 30 years now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So when did the scene change would you say? When did the scene change that Full House was now going to have to make some sort of move or change or an adjustment?
Well, a big adjustment was when Charlie left the band. You know, we knew at some point he was going out, you know, to Hofstra. He had a business marketing degree, and you know, in '97 he left. And right around that time, I turned 40, or I was just turning 40. There was a whole bunch of things that were converging, but I didn't really plan, you know, because by then I was going through my depression. So that, and then, you know, with the drinking age going up and the drinking and driving laws, everything converged to, you know, to say, well, you had a good run, 20 years, you know, but, you know, me being stubborn, I, you know, kept it together for better or worse, and through, you know, not so good times and good times since then.
Right. Well, you sound clear-headed about it, which is good. You were doing the so you kept on doing weddings, right? You stepped on doing private parties.
Yep. Yeah, we did a lot of weddings through the you know, like the early 2000s into like the mid 2000s.
Did you like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Forget the money. How about personally?
Well, that was the other thing that compounded my depression, is being the control freak that I am. I was booking the band on weddings. We weren't working with Omnipop for years by that point, doing the sound, making sure the road crew was there on time, just doing everything, arranging the music, singing 90% of the vocals, you know.
It was a drag.
Well, at the time, you know, Lisa was telling me, Joe, what are you're down there from 6 a.m. till, you know, till 9 p.m, you know, booking the band, doing stuff for the band. I'm like, no, I got to do it. I got to do this, you know. And, you know, it destroyed me there for a while. And I lost a lot.
Got ya. Did you enjoy the actual playing of those gigs?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, because I always like, well, this is, you know, someone's wedding. So I always wanted to do the best job possible. So, yeah. And I enjoyed doing those gigs as much as any other gig. You know, Madison Square Garden, that was a different thing. I was just a small part of the band. You know, there was a big deal. But you know what I'm saying? It wasn't in my control. All I had to control is, okay, relearn the songs, because in Full House, when we did Billy Joel music, I would play the sax solos sometimes and you know, adapt it for our little 4-piece band. So, you know, all I had to worry about then is, you know, learning the 16 or 17 songs, relearning, and just playing the rhythm guitar. And so it wasn't that thing like a wedding, like I said, where I was doing everything. I had my hand in everything.
Well, being in control is also something that's kind of your personality.
Yeah, and then having to lead the band and MC the wedding too. I did that while I'm doing sound, you know, so it was too much, but I couldn't see that when I was in the middle of it.
Interesting. So what's it like, let's fast forward a little bit. What's it like now? Let's go pre-corona for a second. What's it been like for the last, like, let's say, I guess 10 years, right?
Yeah, I would say 10 years. You know, I've been doing a lot of solo gigs, you know, restaurants and outdoor venues in the summer, which hopefully doesn't look like there's going to be any of that this summer. But that's what I've been doing. Also, pre-corona duos with Keith, you know, where we do a lot of the old Full House repertoire, you know, which is ridiculously expansive, between the wedding songs and the classic rock and the standards, Sinatra and Tony Bennett, which we also do. I really miss doing that, because like when we do those duo gigs, when I sing the standards, Keith is just playing piano, so I don't even have to worry about the guitar crooning, you know, which I love to do.
So you can interpret it and you can do your thing. And so you enjoy that. You're actually enjoying that.
Yeah.
You're getting satisfaction.
I love doing this. I love doing the solos, and it makes me, when we do our band gigs, it makes me look forward to that again too. Because it's not like I'm doing it every night and and have all that pressure. And also what I've been doing the last 5 years, me and Keith, is we work for East Coast Productions, the band East Coast, doing weddings and corporates. So even with that, I just learn the songs. I show up, I play, and Paul's got 3 or 4 bands out there.
Yeah,
All great musicians, and I'm more of a featured artist, like the rock guy, so to speak.
So you're getting some recognition from that.
But I don't have to worry about the book. All I got to do is worry about looking good, going there, playing, singing.
Right. The only thing you have to worry about is looking good, and that's the toughest thing, right?
Yeah. That's the toughest part. Yeah. But Paul Shawman, let me just say that the main guy with East Coast, he's just unbelievable. He's a good musician, but he's a great diplomat and businessman. He's just incredible. He does the things I wish I knew how to do, but I'm not jealous at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Let him do it.
I'll give him, just my suggestions sometimes, but
Right.
He gets it. It's so great not having that end of the pressure on myself.
Oh, I love that. It's almost like head coach and assistant coach.
It's a part-time assistant coach.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give him my 2 cents, but
Right, and he'll tell you to go fuck yourself and do what he wants to do.
Exactly. Yep.
Exactly. Any up and coming musicians out there that you've seen on the circuit that you like, and that did you ever think of maybe producing?
Honestly, not really, Lou. I guess I come at this whole music thing from a different perspective. What I just explained to you, like the origins of the band. It's like I never really had that desire as far as writing, and I think that's part of my personality. I didn't like the isolation of like writing a song, and it never came like naturally to me as much as putting on headphones and listening to a guitar lick or a song or a vocal and being able to emulate it pretty easily.
I respect that.
If I could focus and did it, I'm sure I would have been able to write and with other people write good songs, but I never really, I didn't have the focus to be focused on that. It was always like, well, I do this well, let me do it. I'm making money, I like it,
Yeah, I like it, and I thank you for being truthful about that too. Yeah. Now, your brother is a different story when it comes to that, and
yep.
I wanted to even talk about it because shout out to Paul, shout out to Boy, shout out to Rondo. I love you, Paul.
Well,
we didn't really even talk.
No.
Yeah, exactly. We never really talked about the relationship between Paul and yourself, and
yep.
back then and now and in the middle. So I'm hoping that if you had some fun today, maybe we can have a little bit of a part 2 with Paul.
Sure.
That would be great.
I'm sure he has his own perspective on this whole Full House thing.
No, I'm sure he does. Well, he does. He has. Well, and he never said, he never held anything back in the day.
No,
but giving him the other side, I'm going to say it's almost like the alter ego of your side with the original and the writing, because he's doing that side.
Yep.
And he really took himself, I don't know if he still does, but he really did take himself very, very seriously and always really wanted to be taken seriously.
Yep.
And I think he's carved himself a little bit of a niche somewhere. But I think just the both of you guys talking might be pretty fun.
Especially lyrically, he has a much bigger well to dip into than I do. He's a teacher. He's history.
Well, no, he always had that gift. He had the gift of that different sensibility back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to give him credit to say he was smart, but he had, but he did have that gift. So I'd love to get him on here if he's listening.
Mm-hmm.
When he does listen, shout out to you, boy. You better get it together. I'm sure you will. And is there anybody out there that you're listening to that you like? And so anybody new?
You mean as far as new artists?
Yeah, new, old, whatever.
The Killers, they're new, right? They're 20 years old.
Yeah, I would consider them semi-new. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was the early 2000s, I think, right?
Yeah.
The Killers are great, but as far as, well, he's also been around for at least 20 years now. Brad Paisley, and I'm not really a country guy, but
Yes, not him. No, give me 5 years. Give me within the last 5 years. The state of music.
oof, you got to give me some examples, and I'll let you know because I don't really. I'm sure there's ones, but they're not coming to mind right now.
Okay, well, I'll give you. How about new stuff? Like, do you get Billie Eilish?
No,
Okay.
but I'll be honest with you. I think the only thing that's the girl, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I just saw her on that One World thing doing that old song "Sunny." You know, "Sunny," thank you.
Great song.
And first of all, you couldn't really hear her singing, but you know, I thought it was good, but it was nothing that was like, wow, this, you know.
Okay, well, I asked you, do you get it? You answered the question.
But I don't know enough about it. I don't want to, you know.
No. I'm no, listen, no disrespect.
That was the only time I heard her do anything.
It still could be a young person's game. That's a marketing thing. That's a different genre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody older has been doing it, you're right, for a long, long time.
Well, this whole virus situation has kind of cleared the field for everything, right?
Yes, it has. Or anything goes. Anything goes.
Yeah.
What about any rap stuff, any of the hip hop stuff, any of the R&B?
Not really. I thought, you know, back in the day when he came out, but that Eminem was really clever and funny, you know.
Do you follow it?
Not really. No.
Okay, that's fair. So you really don't.
I'm trying to think of, like I said, you know, as far as, I'm not really a country guy, but Keith Urban,
Great. Amazing. He was the best on that.
Brad Paisley, I think they're, you know, two of the best guitar players around. Keith Urban, a great singer. Brad Paisley, good singer, great songwriter, unbelievable guitar player, both.
Yeah, I'll stop.
But Paisley is more for, you know, up my alley.
Yeah, they're stars, though.
Yeah, you're talking about, yeah, they've been around for over 2 decades. I'm trying to think of, like, unless you give me, like, an example like Billie Irish, then they're not going to pop into my head.
Yeah, a little about like Megan Trainor.
No.
How about?
I'm just being on. Who's the other one? The big black lady.
Oh, Megan Thee Stallion. Oh, Lizzo.
Yeah, I don't get it, Max. You know, maybe because I was, you know, brought up with Aretha and Patti LaBelle, and you know.
I agree.
Those are my R&B singers. Yeah.
What about like the rock bands? Like, are there any? You see them? You see
Gladys Knight, I have to mention too.
Oh, Gladys Knight, the best. Absolutely.
The
Now, are there
R&B
any
genre.
rock bands out there now?
I don't know.
I'm asking. That is my question. Are there any young people starting real rock and roll bands like you and I know it?
You know, I don't know. They might be, and it might all be online now, Lou. You know, I mean, there's nothing, you know, there's nothing like when we were growing up, you know, albums and even CDs. Nobody goes out and buys a CD anymore. The whole game has changed. And now, like I said, with this, when we come out of this virus thing, it's, you know, it's going to be something that me and you might not even recognize.
Absolutely. That being said, do you follow social media?
Somewhat.
What's your take? What about the platforms? How are you getting your message out there besides Facebook? I know Facebook is that an old.
Really, that's basically it for me. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram. Although I think I'm going to sign up on Instagram. I'm a dinosaur when it comes to that. I'm happy with Facebook that I can navigate that and use that to my advantage as far as my career and connect with some people, going all the way back to my old neighborhood in the 60s and other people that I want to connect with. And in other ways, if I wasn't a musician and using it for that, I don't know if I'd even be on Facebook.
Do you care do you care about I'm not going to say comments, but do you care about the amount of people that might see or not see? Is it something that's gonna
Sure I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And I care about the comments too, but I have a lot thicker skin now than I did, 10, 20 years ago, but yeah, I follow that. And most of the, not all, but most of the feedback and comments I get are good.
Any upcoming projects, any shout outs, web concerts? Tell me what's coming up. You can tell people out.
I'm doing these Facebook Live sessions now to try and make a little money, to be honest with you, because the live gigs are done, and this is, since I've been in high school, this is my sole source of income, my only my only occupation. So I'm doing these, as a lot of musicians are doing now, these Facebook Live sessions. What I do is in the last 3 weeks, it's morphed into, on Tuesday night, I do a theme night where sometimes it's just Beatles, sometimes it's just Stones. 2 weeks ago, I did famous guitar solos, and I actually pulled out my electric and my amp to do that, which was fun. Tomorrow night, I'm doing songs with female titles, or female titles as part of the general title of the song. That's tomorrow night at 7, Tuesday, my theme night.
How can they find you? Tell everybody where they can find you also.
Just go on Facebook.com and put in Joe Scollo. That's my name. And when I do these sessions, or even when I go out solo doing live in-person gigs for years, I call myself Joe Solo now. So, pretty clever, huh? So yeah, just go to Facebook, either put in the search Joe Scollo or Full House Band Long Island. And that's Full House, all one word, Band Long Island, 3 separate words. And you can catch me on there. But you're better off going to my personal page, Joe Scollo. And tonight I'm doing, on the nights I'm not doing full sessions, my other full session night is Friday nights. At 5 o'clock, I do a happy hour where it's a mixed bag of songs from the 50s through the 2000s. And, I take requests and kind of form my song list from that. And then on the nights that I'm not doing the full sessions, I'm doing what I call the song of the day. And today is my mom's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom.
And I'm doing 2 of her favorite Badfinger songs tonight at 6:30. So that'll be a 15-minute session tops. And then tomorrow night I have the theme female song titles at 7. And then Friday at 5 is my happy hour mixed bag. And it's a lot of fun. And if I do say so myself, I just try to be myself, and I make myself laugh sometimes. So
you don't like to brag, right?
I don't care if people are laughing with me or at me, to be honest with you, at this point.
That's fantastic.
But it's a lot of fun. I do a lot of broad range of songs, and
I don't like to brag.
I don't like to brag, but from the comments I get, that it's people are enjoying it.
Yeah, definitely they are. I've seen a couple and I love it, and I'm hoping you're going to continue. And I know you're going to continue coming up with different things, maybe surprise guests, maybe something, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Trying to master that jam kazam thing, where it's you've seen it all over with the national artists, where I could be playing here in front of my computer, and my brother could join me, or Rich Naso or Keith, and we could have 2 or more people. So hopefully within the next week or so, I'll figure that out.
Excellent. Good. Keep us posted about that. So I just want to say thank you, brother. I think we had a great conversation. It was fun to catch up. I'm hoping.
Do you really think so, Mrs. Wiedemeyer?
You sure make a short, sweet cookie, Bert. Sure make a short cookie, Bert.
I'll have one for the road.
Yeah, how about leave it there, the cow will get it. Leave it there, the cow will get it.
Leave it, the cow will get it.
So, yeah, I want to say thanks, man, to you. It was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was, Sam.
And I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it.
I'm glad you asked me to do it. It was.
Yeah, for sure. I thought of you, and I think you brought a lot to the table. I think you told us a lot.
I told you too much.
You probably did, but
Well, that's what editing is for.
That's the beauty of editing. Exactly. That's what I wanted to say. But I do want to say thanks again. Really, really, really appreciate it. And only the best for you, brother. And I'm glad we reconnected. Thanks so much for listening. Big shout outs to the crew behind the scenes. John Hart, Ian Lidovich, Russ McMahon, and of course my wife, Jill. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment and subscribe, and follow at Grind and Pivot. You already know we appreciate you. Later, son.